But it didn't end there either. You know, came back together later and started talking about using the boat for a journey. It was kind of based on what we had seen and what we had heard about being around Willimantic over the years, the town's kind of bad reputation throughout the state of Connecticut. It has this kind of veneer attached to it, which is sort of associated with poverty and drug abuse and stuff. And for some reason it gets a bad rap that way. More so than other towns, even though, you know, in every town there's tons of dirty secrets and bad things going on, in addition to lots of good things. And that's certainly the case with Willimantic too. It's a mixed bag. We wanted to do something that would spread another image of Willimantic, which was more what we believed in and what we experienced ourselves. The way that, you know, this group had come together to build the boat, and it wasn't like a previously existing group of friends that got together to build this thing. It was a mishmash of all kinds of different people who just sort of united around it. And the fact that had happened really impressed us and made us want to hold on to that kind of community that had come together around this thing. And so, you know, we took the boat out, being that we were Willimantic people. We decided to spread the stories of Willimantic. So we took it to Hartford and we went down the Connecticut River and did this whole trip, stopping along the way in various places and talking with people and just sharing stories all throughout. Some of them made up, some of them not, some of them mix of both.
As usual, the kids were up on the railroad bridge, jumping into the dirty river water below. This was their special place, a place their parents didn't know about, and where their teachers never would have thought to look for them. Every day, all summer long, they would go out there at the most dangerous possible time, when the trains were passing through, sometimes at high speed. Nothing frightened them. Life was new and quick. Life was for living. When you plunged through the warm air, felt that weightlessness, entered the icy, swift water, and imagine the snapping turtle down there, bigger than you. Everything was right there. The kids will always be around. We don't have to worry about that. No matter how times change, how the world might seem to turn upside down, the kids will always be there, hanging out on that bridge.
Sometimes they smell like chocolate.
Yeah. Sometimes they're flavored.
Chocolate fish.
Sometimes they have a little tickler on the end.
Is that a tickler? It's a little nose.
The Swedish tickler. It's an old Norse legend about the Swedish tickler. What's that? Used to follow men home, tell their wives about what they've been doing. Never good stories. The tickler was sort of a tattler, telling lies. Or not lies.
Why'd they call him a tickler?
Because then he'd tickle you until you eat it.
The story I tell you now comes from an age in Willimantic's history when they were ruled by a vicious and tyrannical king named Johnny Acid. Johnny Acid was an incredible guitar player, beyond Jimmy Page, beyond Jack White, beyond even Jimi Hendrix. And he was an evil, terrible man. He womanized, he brutalized, and he stayed out every night, past 11.
So I heard that in 1923, there was a special water that existed in the rivers and also when it rained in Willimantic. And it also, I mean, it was from the rain, but it was only in that section of Willimantic that it rained down this special material that made everything hyper grow. And one thing that was affected were the frogs. And one night in January, I think it was the third night in January, everybody came out of their houses because it was like third Thursday or something, so they were just walking around having a good time, and one person saw this gigantic frog. It was, I mean, at least 10 feet, probably close to 15, 20, and it was just hopping down the road, and people were flipping out, but everyone understood it because the waters had been making everyone grow. Everyone was at least 2-3 inches taller, but nothing like this frog. So I guess he was like growing for X amount of years and just had like drank a whole bunch of this special water in the woods. And they saw it climb up the town hall, and everyone was just freaking out and thought that the tower would break a few houses and the clock. And it went up to the top of the tower and just reached down with his hand and changed the hour back, and then climbed back down and attacked everyone, and then went back in the woods.